Welcome to Sim Football Postgame and Game Day Wrap-Up, along with Mike St. Green. Game Day Wrap-Up live, right? Mike, new and improved, I guess, whatever. But Vancouver and St. Louis, they're the real show today. They stole the show. Vancouver wins 38-31 in an absolute epic classic. Your initial thoughts, Mike?
Cam, have you remember the Vanessa Williams song, Save the Best for Last? I know it's not about ice cream, so I know you don't remember, but we saved the best for last in this game, Cam. I finally felt like we were watching a playoff game. This game was absolutely amazing, to be honest with you. And this is kind of typical of Vancouver. Once they reached the playoffs, they played these tough, amazing comeback games, overtime games, and this fits right in with Vancouver, what they've done over their playoff history, man. Great, basically comeback effort from them from the first half. I mean, from really the Dan Daly touchdown on, that Vancouver offense just clicked the remainder of the game.
It's disturbing how little I know about music, movies, and pop culture, right? Like, it's almost like there's something wrong with me.
Yeah, Cam, is more to the world than football and ice cream. That's all I can tell you.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. Just a tremendous game, and Vancouver just cannot play a boring first-round game. Mm-hmm, they have made the massive comeback against Atlanta. They have made the amazing plays against Jacksonville in overtime a couple of seasons in a row. I mean, this team, they make you sweat, but they're so fun to watch. It's unbelievable how fun they are to watch.
Yeah, Cam, out of respect for my Jacksonville brother, and I don't know if I want to bring up that exciting playoff win a few seasons ago that they happened to lose in overtime on the weird fumble play. I think that was season 14 that they still, kind of brood about in the Jacksonville locker room, I'm sure. But, man, yeah, Vancouver, if you want excitement, tune into a Vancouver playoff game.
And now they're going to go play Mexico City. That should be just an absolutely stellar game. But to touch on St. Louis, to touch on the game, rather, for just a moment.
Yeah.
So St. Louis was up 14-3. They were in control. And then they went up 17-3. And that touchdown at the end of the first half to Dan Daly, like you said, that gave Vancouver a chance to breathe and say, okay, we're going to be all right. We can move the football. It's not going to be like the Arizona game where we were just totally shut down. And who was the other team, Mike, that Vancouver had some trouble with? It was St. Louis. St.
Louis shut them down pretty much that first matchup. Yeah,
it's not going to be like those days. We were able to move the ball. And then I think the Hail Mary interception didn't help very much. And then they started by pinning St. Louis back deep. It just kind of seemed like Vancouver played their game in the second half, whereas St. Louis was playing their game in the first half. You could tell that the pace definitely switched.
Well, it's two players, Cam. We definitely can't go without mentioning, as you mentioned, for as the second half goes. Actually, Rose Finch, our defensive play, really turned this game around for Vancouver and helping enable them shutting that St. Louis offense down. And then the other players is, of course, Robert Redford. I mean, he had a extremely great second half. We saw him get, things going on the ground. Ended up with 106 yards rushing and a touchdown. I believe he had a touchdown catch as well. And we finally got a chance to see that balance that I was calling for from this Vancouver offense. And they got everyone involved. You didn't know if it was going to go to Killian, Daly, Hall got involved late in the second half, and before you knew it, Vancouver they were on a roll and hard for St. Louis to stop.
St. Louis comes up on the losing end again of a playoff game. This one closer than they've ever been, but you got to like the direction of this team. They continue to improve steadily, season after season. And even when it looked like they had lost a little magic earlier in the season, they kept coming back. Every time you'd put them down and put them away, they would put out a terrific performance, whether it was against Mexico City, whether it was against Louisiana, right? They would just come alive, and it was just like, wow, there's really something special about this St. Louis team.
Yeah.
And they get everybody involved. Clausen had a nice day. Koss, all of them. All of them were pretty tremendous. It's too bad that somebody had to lose this game.
Yeah, Cam, and this team has been together over the last couple of seasons. This was the first season in a long, long while that they had to, same quarterback returning. Hopefully they can keep that going for next season. But a lot of these guys, they came in together season 15. They kept that locker room together to add them in with the veterans that they already had on the roster. They added Rawgar Law from Houston last season. He was the defensive rookie of the year, and it's a solid roster. So, yeah, too bad anyone had to lose this game. St. Louis, they were right there to get that first ever playoff win under their belt. But, going into season 18, they have to be, pretty optimistic about it. They've reached the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 seasons. So there's no reason to not go into that season 18 very optimistic about their possibilities.
What would have happened if you would have had to call this game tonight with that throat you got going on today?
I have no idea, Cam. It's baffling the heck out of me, that's for sure. But we're going to fight our way through it.
Hey, we're just making sure you're all right. That's all. Earlier in the day, as this was not the only game going on today, a victory for the Charleston Predators. They beat Los Angeles 29-10, but that game was pretty darn close. It was actually 10-9 in the third quarter. You hit it earlier today in a post-game, Mike, that the turn of the tide was a fourth down a conversion or lack thereof for LA, and that swung everything.
Yeah, for a team that was, struggling on offense, this was kind of fitting right into LA's hands up until that point. And I was really kind of miffed as to why at that point of the game the coaches decided to go for that fourth down. I get it. You get that first down, you keep some momentum rolling, and maybe putting Charleston further behind the 8 ball, but Jack Brown came up with a huge stop, and man, Charleston just flipped the switch from there, and it seems like everything just went their way after that. I mean, absolutely nothing seemed to go LA's way after that play.
At the end of the day, LA's season felt like last season. They got off to a hot start. They were leading the division. They kind of faltered down the stretch. They end up blowing the division lead. They end up with a road game in the playoffs, and then they end up at home after the first round. They got to feel a little disappointed that after all of that, it was just, new verse, same as the first.
Yeah, they have to feel a little disappointed over there in that Lycans locker room. But, I mean, they've had a lot of turnover and turmoil early in the season. They fought their way through that. And as you mentioned, coming down the stretch, they were right there in line to win the division championship. Tough loss to San Diego last weekend, and put themselves in a situation where they had to go on the road. And yeah, man, they were so close, but yet so far away.
Their whole staff: Sully Richardson, Tom Rahman, Rochelle Colston, Ryan Yosef. They put in so many hours. I can't tell you. Every time I get on Discord, there's somebody streaming a live sim because they're trying to scout and make adjustments and do all that stuff. So I know this one hurt for LA. They'll be back. But Charleston gets their first playoff win in the Charleston Predators era, the same season that they had an ownership and coaching change. The Predators turn it all around. It's their first franchise victory since Indianapolis defeated San Antonio in season 10. And San Antonio was a team that was dead to rights. They were up for sale. It was the only time a team has been up for sale while being in the playoffs, and Indianapolis kind of took care of it. That Red Devil team actually with a lot of history, because then they played Tallahassee in the next round, and Tallahassee was unbeaten at the time, and a blocked punt actually helped Tallahassee eliminate Indianapolis. And that's about all we've heard from this Charleston franchise in the postseason since. They flamed out in the first round against Sioux Falls a couple of years ago. But this is a different team with an elite defense.
Yeah, different team for sure, and definitely an elite defense. Man, Corey Minner had a huge game today, a couple of interceptions, and probably one of the best interceptions we've seen at least all season, if not, in a long, long time, with that one-handed jumping, leaping interception that he had to pretty much put that game away. But, they're going up against the juggernaut next weekend in Florida. They played a few weeks ago. Charleston did play them tough, and hung in that game for a long time. Keith Swearigan had a big game, but man, this Florida team has won 8 in a row. They're a different animal over there. A balanced attack. You don't know if you're going to get Bullet Boletsky. You don't know if you're going to get Veridin Zarkov, who's come on strong at the tight end spot here recently. Stephen Bush. I mean, just weapons all over the place. Great, solid defense. So the work is going to be cut out for them next weekend.
I'd say the odds are against them, but Charleston's playing with house money, so you never know what we're going to see. But they can take some lessons from the first round into the second round. Play your game.
Yeah.
Don't do any. Don't totally change who you are just to try to beat one team. Do what you do. Make some adjustments that may give you the best chance to win. And that one-handed interception, it wasn't. We see probably maybe one a week, Mike. Would you say the one-handed picks?
Yeah.
But the zip on the Richardson pass is what made that interception so ridiculous. I mean, that ball was zipping past him, and he just stuck out of hand, and it was like Velcro. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was just totally out of nowhere. Like I said, one of the most amazing plays we've seen all season on a very, very long time in the SFL, and it's probably deserving of a game ball, Cam. I don't know.
Dang it, Mike. No, I don't think so. I think you probably have some others that you might want to award. Hey, I will say that's the only play that got me out of my seat all weekend long, and I just called the Vancouver-St. Louis game. So that's how good that interception was.
I could have sworn it was the MSG late garbage time touchdown.
Oh, yeah, right.
I could have sworn that got you out of your seat.
Yeah, that may have gotten me out of my seat to go into the kitchen and get something to eat because that game was well and over, and you know it. Well, that answers my next question, Mike. If you were ready with game balls, it sounds like you are. So why don't you give us your first one? This is for Wild Card Weekend, so yesterday's games and today's.
Wild Card Weekend, yeah, it was amazing. We get two. That's what I was thinking. And my first one has to go to we're going to go to the London and Arizona game. It has to go to Ashley Jackson. She had a tremendous game yesterday. I want to say 43 out of 52, over 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. I mean, every time it was a big situation where she needed to convert a third down, she would find James Hands, Donnie Hands, Will Todd, you name it. Some of her other weapons. I think Roscoe Justice may even caught a ball. I'm not sure, but yeah, anybody that was a weapon on that team, she seemed to find them in a big situation. And I think only one interception to go along with all that. So yeah, a great game from Ashley, and Arizona deserved that win, and kudos to her.
Well, now I'm nervous because we only get 2, so you better – I don't want to take it from you. You better give it, though, with your next game ball. I'm going to go with Robert Redford because he put the team on his back. Robert Redford in the first half, every time he touched the ball, he was getting tackled on first contact. St. Louis was all over him. Great game plan. Great game plan from St. Louis. Vancouver scored 38 points, but the defense was on point from the Gladiators. They were making the tackles in the open field, and that was rattling the Vancouver offense. And then in the second half, Robert Redford started breaking the first tackle. And on third down, when they needed to ice the game, he broke a critical tackle to move the chains and get the first down. We haven't heard from Redford a lot in the last month. He said it himself on the interview. He's happy to take a back seat to this offense full of deep down the field weapons that Vancouver has developed over the last few seasons, but he was no backseat in the fourth quarter. He gets a game ball.
Yeah, Cam, as you mentioned, when we spoke with him a few weeks ago, he doesn't mind, not being in the spotlight all the time. But hey, what he said in this game, I'm not ready to go home. You guys just take a back seat over there, go have a seat, and I'm going to take care of this for you. And that's what superstars do. And Robert Redford is definitely a superstar. And as you mentioned, we didn't hear much from him at all in the first half. It really didn't seem like they were ever going to get him going. But man, he just all of a sudden just came out of nowhere, started making the plays that we're accustomed to seeing him make, and he's definitely deserving of that game ball.
All right, Mike, second game ball.
Cam, I'm going to stay with the quarterbacks, and this is going to be a rookie quarterback. Joseph Green, he struggled all season long, but man, he really stepped up in the game against Queen City yesterday. 3 touchdowns, 277 yards. And in talking about comparing him to Ashley Jackson for as making big plays on third down, keeping the sticks moving, keeping that Queen City offense off the field. I mean, he was finding Mason Kirby, John Blades, using all of his weapons in this game, and it was a great performance from a rookie going on the road against a solid team and leading his team to victory yesterday.
It amazes me his maturity from week 1 to now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it also amazes me, Mike, that Vegas and Charleston played in week 1, and that game was terrible. It was so bad. And there are 2 of the 8 teams left in the playoffs. We were just sitting there going, what in the world, 17-5? But it turns out that both teams had elite secondaries. Both teams may have been a little underrated coming into the season. And it just gave us a false impression, as week 1 often does across the league, of what teams are and who teams are. And man, Joseph Green is a fun player to watch. It's going to be really interesting to see what Vegas does against that Baltimore secondary, because Baltimore is going to make you stay patient. Vegas is not a very patient team. So that game could get out of hand very quickly, or who knows? I mean, Vegas has enough weapons to where they can make some noise in that game. So, yeah, Green is an incredible pick. Well, then I got to give it to him then. I'm going to go Corey Menor in Charleston for the best play of the whole weekend. That stab out of the air was a perfect exclamation point. It's been a long day. Exclamation point to the victory for Charleston. And it wasn't just that interception. Menor was terrific all day against Davius Reed. Johnny Bravo on the other side of the field was terrific against Chris Lee. You know, it's easy to blame Richardson or the offense or the play calling for the reason why Los Angeles scored 10 points. But honestly, you could also just tip your cap to a tremendous game plan from Charleston, which they have been doing all season long.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, man, Menor was all over the field today. Man, we may have to rename him Menor Island or something like that, because I mean, nothing was getting past the guy. Reed was shut down. Lee was shut down pretty much the entire game, and you can't, mention him without mentioning Johnny Bravo on the other side. I mean, these guys were really complimenting each other on the corners, and man, good luck. Passing on these guys going further in the playoff next week with Florida. I know it's going to be a great matchup, but man, that secondary is second to none, really.
Bravo just said in the chat, Corey looks like a better receiver than MSG. Your response?
Well, I think I'm going to just let Bravo. I'm going to let Bravo have his moment. We take it on the chin.
There you go, Bravo.
You don't get me speechless too often. So yeah, I'll let Bravo have it, man. Congratulations on a great game by yourself. And we'll give him credit. You know what? He has tan arms, Cam. Corey does. So maybe. So he was doing his MSG impersonation like that by hitting the tanning bed during the week or something.
I don't know. Hey, Mike St. Green speechless. It really was a great week on the football. so that's game day wrap up. Those are our game balls. That's Sunday. You can catch out Saturday's game day wrap up at the beginning of our game between Los Angeles and Charleston, and we'll clip it all together for you and get it up in a separate video in case you don't want to scroll through and try to find where we did it this week. But amazing set of games. And before we leave, we got to tell you who you're playing and when you're playing. So starting Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Next Level Sports, that is the Atlanta Swarm hosting the Arizona Scorpions. 2 big markets, BDG, Ashley Jackson, Boo Chisholm, the whole cast and crew, Eddie Gage, Will Todd, all those folks going to be in Atlanta. That gets us started next week on TV. Then Saturday at 4 Eastern on the SFL Network, you've got Florida hosting Charleston, a divisional battle. Charleston will probably be a heavy dog in that game just because of their lack of playoff experience, given that Florida is a 3-time champion. But who knows? Like you said, Charleston hung in with Florida just about a month ago, and that game was a ball game all the way into the fourth quarter. So that is Saturday's schedule. Then Sunday at 1 Eastern to start our For the Fans coverage, we've got Vancouver going to Mexico City on a Sunday afternoon. And then at Sunday at 3 Eastern, right after Vancouver and Mexico City, Baltimore hosts Las Vegas, and that will once again tell us what the semifinal, or I stand corrected, actually. The bracket is set, so Baltimore and Vegas will take on the winner of Vancouver and Mexico City. They both play Sunday, and then we will know the one side of the bracket semifinal. The winner of Florida Charleston takes on the winner of Atlanta and Arizona. So your thoughts on the remaining 8 and the quarterfinal bracket as it stands now, seeding locked?
Wow, Cam, when you mentioned these matchups, the first one that really stood out to me, and really, I mean, they're all going to be great matchups. But man, I'm looking forward to that Arizona and Atlanta matchup. First thing I think about is Eddie Gage, the great mind of Eddie Gage, going up against the great mind of Mark Chisholm. I know as soon as Mark just heard these matchups, he's already in the lab trying to figure out what to put together to stop this Eddie Gage offense, as well as what can he do to attack that defense. And I'm sure Eddie's doing the same thing. But man, that's the one matchup that I'm curious to see what that chess match is going to look like next weekend.
Yeah, I'm at the. I mean, maybe I'm biased because I just called a Vancouver game, but I'm in the Vancouver Mexico City tent. I can't wait to see what the Legion have against the Aztecs in a big playoff rematch. And Mexico City hasn't won since season 9. Vancouver's never won it. One of those teams is going to get to the semifinals, and that's a pretty big game for both squads. Florida, Baltimore, they should take care of business. They should, but you never know. I mean, Charleston and Vegas are playing the best football that they've been playing all season long. I believe both on a 3-game winning streak. Vegas took care of Lone Star and then beat Arizona, and now won their playoff game, and then Charleston took out Jacksonville, and I don't remember who they played in Week 11, but it doesn't much matter. They're in the quarterfinals with the rest of them. So that's the schedule. We'll have graphics for you once we can catch our breath here at SFL Studios, but those are the final 8 teams left, and it's going to be a good one. Final thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, I was going to say real quick about that Baltimore and Vegas matchup. To me, that's going to be very intriguing to see, because the matchup earlier this season had bad weather, raining in Baltimore.
That's right.
Joseph Green had one of the worst games he's had all season long, 34-0 shutout. I'm intrigued to see what adjustments that Vegas is going to make going back over to Baltimore and see if they can make a game of it this weekend. So next weekend. I'm excited to see what that matchup's going to look like.
Yeah, you're right. I had forgotten about that. That was a terrible showing from Vegas, and it was a wet and ugly game. And, what can Vegas do differently now that there's been a couple of months separating the two teams and a lot more film for each side. So that's going to be interesting and exciting, and we'll see you all then. Saturday, 1 Eastern gets us started, Arizona and Atlanta. For Mike St. Green, I'm Cameron Irvine. This has been Game Day Wrap-Up, and this has been a wild card weekend. We'll see everybody on the other side. Have a great weekend.